trying to watch myself over here. Play it on my phone. It's weird listening to yourself talk through earbuds. Thank you. So, how's everybody's day been? So, you were watching your football game. Seattle's not winning, are they? Yeah, that's what I was understanding earlier. You were saying you weren't feeling very good. Stay away from me. It got cold outside all of a sudden today, and my son comes in and he's like, "It might rain." I don't think it's raining. It might later. Don't know. Just after halftime, that's good. Anyways, it is AA night. I'm getting used to this one. Normally I'd be watching videos and trying to go to sleep right about now. But I have a meeting to do, so not raining yet, huh? Okay. Anyways, welcome to AA. I'm Sandra, and I'm an alcoholic. If you ask why I do these meetings, it's to help the next person, the next alcoholic who suffers, or anyone else for that matter who might need something that they need help with. So, um, anyways, so like I said, I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic. And please be kind in the chat, and be mindful. Don't be judging each other in the chat. Just because somebody is talking in the chat with the people in the chat does not make them the alcoholic. They could be here supporting my channel or learning ways to help a friend or family member to achieve sobriety. And also for those people that can't get out and go to meetings. So, anyway, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I love my Jelly Roll hoodie too. Means a lot. My first ever concert with my bestie, my lifelong bestie, since before we even took our first breath, bestie. Did I say it good enough? Anyways, 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made the decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. I thought I said that one already. I don't know. Anyway. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. So, anyways, okay, so for these last few meetings, I've been sharing things in the books that I've highlighted and why and what it means to me. So, stick highlighter. So first off, on the they stopped in time, it's on page 280. Anyways, I'll just read it anyway. Therefore, these 16 AAs and hundreds of thousands like them have been saved years of infinite suffering. They sum it up something like this. We didn't wait to hit bottom because, thank God, we could see the bottom. Actually, the bottom came up and hit us. That sold us on Alcoholics Anonymous. That is so true because it really, the bottom is like, for me, the first time I quit drinking, that bottom was my husband and my kid left me to defend for myself, or fend for myself, I should say. Being a stupid drunk with a knife, thinking I'm going to make dinner, and then I have a blackout. Believe me, I was still in the house when I came back from that blackout. It was like that quick. But I hurt myself in the process. So the bottom comes in many different ways. And for some of us, it comes earlier than it does for others. Because we are not all the exact same. We didn't start our drinking careers at the same time in life. Or, we don't have all the same exact storylines other than we're alcoholics. And the alcohol is something that we can't get, we couldn't seem to get over the alcohol before we hit those whatever bottoms you hit. And some people go back out afterwards, like I had. But I've told it before. I went out before I ever found AA. So I knew when I went to AA, when they said that you don't start over in your drinking career. You actually start right where you left off. And it's like I didn't miss a single day of being drunk. I had been drunk that whole entire time. But I didn't have a program to help me to learn to navigate myself in a sober life. But I do have that program now. And so this one is the missing link. I'll read the top and then I'll read the highlighted part on the first page. It says, he looked at everything as the cause of his unhappiness except alcohol. I highlighted, this is on page 281. It was all very confusing. I remember isolating on the playground, watching all the other children laughing and playing and smiling, and not feeling like I could relate at all. I felt different. I didn't feel as if I was one of them. Somehow I thought I didn't fit in. For me, growing up, that is exactly how I felt through school. Grade school, not so much. I got made fun of by one teacher, and it was because of my hearing. And so because I had and still have a hearing loss, I talk different. That's why I still talk different. It's because I can't hear myself and the sounds that they should make. So I've made them up on how I think they sound as I can hear them, if that makes sense. And then in the middle school, I got made fun of because I wore hearing aids. And so, when my last set of hearing aids got wet by a stepsister throwing them in the bathtub, I decided at that point in life that I was done with them. I was never going to wear them again. And so I have learned how to fake it till I make it because I can't hear. But even as an adult, I still hide the fact that I have to wear a hearing aid because it's a trauma. And I don't think it's going to go away because I was bullied for it for so long and nothing was done that it's something I don't get over. I had one employer tell me, well, you need to wear it. And I was working in the woods. And I was like, all right, well, I wear it. And I wore it once and I was like, no, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And he got to telling me every time he saw me, he's like, you wearing your hearing aid? I was like, no. He goes, You need to wear it. And so if I went up to the shop, I'd wear it. But that was it. I wouldn't wear it other than that. And now, if I really want to hear what's going on, which anytime I'm around my friends or my sponsor or in a meeting or with talking to any of my sponsees, I have it in so that I can hear what they're saying. And when we had to wear those stupid masks, I really got lost in everything. Doctor's appointments, I couldn't have somebody with me that could hear, so I didn't know what was going on with me health-wise. And so that is still an issue for me sometimes. But yeah, being a child and going through those things, and I never fit in. And so I know how it is to feel like you don't belong somewhere. But the cool thing growing up, though, is my family all knew. My favorite cousin that was always with me everywhere, just about, as a teenager, he was my ears. And he protected me a lot when he could. Okay, and about that time, I started seeing therapists and specialists, each with a different theory and a different solution. They conducted special tests and interviews designed to get to the root of my troubles and came to the conclusion that I had a learning disability and was depressed. The psychiatrist started me on some medication, and the problems in school started to clear up. Even some of the depression began to ease up for a bit. However, something still seemed fundamentally wrong. Now, I didn't go to see psychiatrists. I tried to not show that I was being teased about it, except for when the teacher said something to me and made fun of me for it. That's where depression started. And I never got any help from it or for it. I have dealt with it on my own, except for the past few years being on the right meds, and I need to keep reminding myself that I do need to talk to my doctor about those issues that I have. And because I don't always want to deal with it, I want to just wipe it away, push it somewhere else, and just leave it. But that obviously doesn't help. And that's why I marked these, is because it jumped off the page at me when I was reading this for the first time. I had this all highlighted in my first book. And so when I went through this one, I highlighted them all again. Because they jump out at me for those reasons. More often, I was having these little moments of clarity, times I knew for sure that I was an alcoholic. Times when I was looking at the bottom of my glass, asking myself, why am I doing this? Something had to give. Something had to change. I was suicidal, evaluating every part of my life for what could be wrong. It it, it culminated in one last night of drinking and starting or and staring at the problem. It made me sick to think about it, and even sicker to continue drinking it anyway. I was forced to look at my drinking as a chief suspect. I had to do that because until I recognized that I was the one dealing with this problem, that I needed to face it for what it was and what it is. And yeah, I was the chief suspect of my own demise, of my own hurting myself and humiliating myself and being dumb and being mean and just wanting to keep drinking so that way I could wash down all of those hurtful things and become a mean person, because that's what I did. I became somebody I didn't like. I didn't want to be that person. But that's exactly what I became. And it took me all the way up to my 30s to become that person. I fought it for as long as I could. And then it took me 4 to 5 years to get out of it. All right, let's go to the next highlight. Oh, now we're getting into the fear. Something I don't like. This is on page 294 in the big book. I never thought I could be useful to anyone except my husband and my children and perhaps a few friends, but AA had shown me that I can help other alcoholics. Been a big part. Part of my life has opened and become who I am now, and I'm an open book about my alcoholic part of my life and the things that have changed and the way that I've changed my life and the way I look at things, and I see things clear, and my emotions are real, they're not fake. Now, when I was drinking, I could turn the tears on like nothing flat, or I could get mad just as quick. And it was like snapping the finger. And like I said, I didn't like who I was. But AA has taught me that from my story and my sobriety and my walking on my path for as long as I have, I need to share what I've gotten out of a program that is free. I didn't have to pay for it. All I had to do was want it for me, not for my husband, not for my kids, not for my friends, for me. And that's the whole thing, is until you want it for the right reason, and the only right reason is yourself, it's a cakewalk. Even on the bad days, I lay in bed every now and then and just cry all day long. But I'm still sober and I feel those things for real. It's not fake. And then I am trying now each day to make up for all those selfish, thoughtless, foolish things I did in my drinking days. I hope that I never forget to be grateful. I'm coming up on 11 years. And I am more than grateful that I'm sober today, that I have the rooms, the people, a community here, my friends here, my friends that I walked away from when I was a teenager, that we all have had our battles and our struggles with whatever the issue is. And I was talking to a friend last night, and I said, we need to go have coffee. That's what we would do after meetings, is have coffee and talk. Real talk about life and what was being thrown at us, and we would laugh, just be us, sober, while we were at a restaurant with a bar attached, listening to them in there getting drunk, and we were just laughing together at us. And having the people that understand what you're going through and your daily dealings and things that you need to accomplish to keep sobriety and work on it. There's people there that understand. Even in the restaurants and the churches and stuff, if you go to a church, you can ask them, do you guys have an AA meeting? Or if not, can you point me to one? Even when I go to my meetings, my home group meetings, I'm always, I do meetings on YouTube. It's free and you don't have to go anywhere. But I say that because not everybody knows that this is a safe place for sober people. And I make it safe because I don't let people bully each other in my comments or in my chats. And I understand if you're watching a replay or you're watching the live stream and you don't want to chat, believe me, I get it. I completely understand. Because when I first started going to Alcoholics Anonymous, I didn't want to talk at all. I said nothing. Literally. My husband had to say my name because I said nothing. But I had already admitted that I was an alcoholic. and that was me. So I already knew that maybe it could help. And 11 years later, here I am, still sober and not missing a drink at all. Hey, I should have realized that alcohol was getting hold of me when I started to become secretive in my drinking. I began to have supplies on hand for the people who might come in. And of course, a half empty bottle wasn't worth keeping. So I finished it up and naturally had to get more in the right way for the people who might come in unexpectedly. Yep, I did that. I did that for sure. I thought I was being so clever and so sneaky, and nobody knew, but everybody knew. I was the only idiot that didn't know. I mean, really? I thought I was being so great at sneaking this alcohol in and never letting anybody know that I was sneaking off to the store in the morning to get that beer at 7 o'clock a.m. and have it gone before I even got home. And then I'd be at home going pacing back and forth like, now I gotta go get another one. I don't miss it at all. Not at all. Every day that I have been sober has been well worth it because I don't miss being crazy for alcohol. And that was the only thing that was always on my mind was the alcohol. That's all I thought about day, night, all day, 24 hours a day. Even my mind was thinking alcohol while I was sleeping, which wasn't really sleeping. It was just passed out for a little bit so I could wake up and do it all over again. Go through the crazy madness of getting that drink. Not worth it. It is so not worth it to go and look that stupid thinking you're fooling everybody when you're the only fool walking around trying to figure out where the hell you put it. Where'd I hide it? I didn't know because I freaking forgot 3 days ago. That's how it was. Or you hide it somewhere in, like, when I was a teenager. My cousin and I thought we were being so sly. We were not sly at all because everybody we were with was adults. We were the minors. And we knew how to get down and get partying. Only one problem. We took a bunch of the beer and we hid it. We couldn't find it. Still to this day, we don't know where we put it. Have not a clue. It's somewhere up in the Estacada area. Who knows? We didn't find it. We didn't drink it. We left it. But we hid it. You know, that was the first time I ever hid alcohol. First time. And then I didn't do that again until I was in my 30s. If I was going to drink, I was going to drink in the open. And that was usually at a bar after I hit 21. Because when I was a teenager, I was a mom. Tony. Yeah, yeah, you hide it, and then it's like, where did I put it? I don't know. My sister would put it in the back of the toilet. You know where the tank is? It's clean water, y'all. It's clean water. But she would put it back there, or her husband would. Or we'd hide a whiskey bottle in the obvious place, in the freezer, and then we wouldn't know where it was. But the whiskey, we all got mean. But yeah, so hiding it and thinking that we were being secretive, you ain't fooling nobody. I have a family member that still to this day thinks she's so sly and knows that she's fooling everybody. Well, we all know better. We know better. We know better. You ain't fooling me, and I ain't even got to smell your breath. Yeah, right, Lil? Exactly. I hid beer in my closet and forgot about it. I found it 6 months after I quit drinking. And you gave it to your husband. I wonder if it was expired. We didn't much care about those things while we were drinking. But man, did we sure go and get a bunch of them parties. Man, we'd each be drinking too. We'd set a limit, 3 only. And we didn't say what size. So we went and got the big ones. Big old bottles. Anyway, when we moved here where we live now, I started a collection of whiskey bottles, and my first collected whiskey bottle was my favorite of all time, Jack Daniels. It was Jack all the way. And I just started building on that. Well, when we moved here almost 5 years ago, I threw them all out. I have the shot glasses still, but I threw all the liquor bottles out. That's not my collection anymore. I don't want it, and I had to get rid of it. And then let's go over here to page 297 in the big book. How I ran my home, I don't know, I went on, realizing what I was becoming, hating myself for it, bitter, blaming life, blaming everything but the fact that I should turn about and do something about my drinking. Finally, I didn't care. I was beyond caring. I just wanted to live to a certain age, carry through with what I felt was my job with the children, and after that, no matter, half a mother was better than no mother at all. Yep. They didn't need me. They didn't need me all the time. And so I got lonely, really lonely, and I isolated myself in the drinking. I was at home all day by myself, and so I just drank myself. I drank all the time, and I didn't realize that my boys were affected by my actions. The way I was living scared them. And now I have a great relationship with both my kids. And that is a plus. Because I could have lost them like some other people lose their family members because of the alcohol. And they don't get them back. Because they don't ever find sobriety in time. And I'm glad I found it when I did. Even the first time. Because, yeah, I went back out for a couple years. But when I got the AA and I found that there was a program that could help me to stay sober and achieve that goal that I wanted to do, that was my first life goal, was getting sober. And I couldn't do it without AA, and I couldn't do it without my husband and my friend, the one that turned me to AA anyways, because before that I really didn't have any friends that were okay with me being who I was at that point. Just getting sober, and there was a lot of things that I walked away from to get sober. I left my sister. I left my parents. I had my husband and my youngest son, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. And I decided one day my sister called me and she was drunk. And mind you, she is sober now. And I told her to never call me when she was drunk again, and she stopped calling me completely. And I was like, I just basically told her the same thing I told my father. And so that was my cue that I was done drinking. And I stopped drinking on November 15th of 2014. And it was the best thing I've ever done, besides having my kids, of course. And then right here on page 300, my heavens, surrender to me has meant the ability to run my home, to face responsibilities as they should be. I already read that one. The next one. That life for me is lived one day at a time, letting the problems of the future rest with the future. When the time comes to solve them, God will give me strength for that day. He gives you strength for that day. And every day. I know it hurt because it hurt me too. But without Alcoholics Anonymous, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you, saying you can get it. You have to want it for yourself more than anything. It's your life. Because it will kill you. The alcohol will take you. Very slowly sometimes. Sometimes in a blink of an eye. And not all of us get it. But I can reach who I can reach. to help who I can help. Anyways, I'm going to read the daily reflection and go relax. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence upon God. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 98. Before coming to AA, I always had excuses for taking a drink. She said. He said, I got fired yesterday. I had got a great job today. No area of my life could be good if I drank again. In sobriety, my life gets better each day. I must always remember not to drink, to trust God, and to stay active in AA. Am I putting anything before my sobriety, God, and AA today? No, I can't share it. What? Anyway, with that, I will let you guys have your night and your week, and I should say. I work Saturday and Sunday, so I won't see you guys again until probably Tuesday. Um, what day is Tuesday? I probably won't be doing the AA meeting on Tuesday. Just so you know, probably no AA Tuesday because I have to go to the doctor's office yet again. But I love you guys. Have a safe weekend. And remember, there's help. All you have to do is just ask for it and reach out. And you're never alone. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to even a stranger. You never know, that person just might know exactly what you need to hear. And I love you guys, and be safe out there. Be kind. And remember, stay sober and trust the higher power. I love you guys.